All right, it's time for another 5 minutes. Joining me today, play-by-play broadcaster, good friend of mine. He is the host of the new podcast, Our Game, which you can find on podcast platforms everywhere. Steve Granado is here. Steve, how are you doing, man?
What's up, Eric? Let's talk some good stuff, man. I'm excited.
Oh, we got a lot going on. It was a marathon in baseball the other day. I know you like to talk about baseball, so what's our topic going to be today?
Yeah, let's talk 2020 postseason baseball, man. Let's talk about this wacky, weird bracket we got going on.
Love the bracket in all sports. This one's just a little bit different, but let's go ahead. We're going to put 5 minutes on the clock, and here we go. All right. The other day, 8 games going on all at once, day 2 of the playoffs. I thought it was great. It was pandemonium. I got to watch baseball for more than 13 hours consecutively. I like the format. I like the extra round. I know there's a lot of people who don't. I'm always on team more baseball. So I do like the extra round. 3 games a little short for me. Maybe we can adjust that to 5 next year. What are your thoughts so far on these playoffs?
I'm against you, but I am on the side, Eric. I will say I'm on the side of more baseball. You're talking to a guy that's called 16 innings one time. I've also called 5 baseball games in one day, all 9 innings. So, with that caveat, I'm not a big fan of this new bracket system. You look at the Astros, you look at the Brewers, you look at some of these teams. Yes, the Astros ended up winning that series against the Twins, but you look at some of these teams who are sub 500. It's just decentivizes winning, really. Being able to get in and being able to spend less money on potential free agents in the offseason. Like, well, we don't need to win 93 games anymore. We only need to win 78, or we only need to win 80 to make it in. So I'm not a huge fan. The 3 game set too, like to your point, I'm not a huge fan of. I'm such more of a fan of a 1 game playoff if you're a wild card, because that incentivizes teams to win the division. And it's also like so much more exciting. A 3 game set, while with some of these teams, that end up losing game 1 and winning game 2 gives them a better opportunity. You think of the Oakland A's who end up beating the White Sox after losing game 1. But I still think the 1 game playoff, if you're going to do a short series, just do it 1 game. I think that's way more exciting, especially when fans are back in the ballpark. That's just so much more fun, at least for me. A 3 game set, why do 3 go to 5 then, right? To your point. So I get, because of the timing, and we're grateful for any baseball that we can get this year, and I'm certainly glad that we're able to get some baseball in. But yeah, I'm thinking all or nothing here. You go 5 or you go 1.
I'll be clear too that I don't think this format works with a 60-game schedule, and I think that goes to
Nothing works with a 60 game
yeah,
schedule.
nothing really does. Yeah, this is kind of what we're stuck with. But I do think that in a longer season, maybe not quite 162 games, that if you're going to win 80 and make it to the playoffs in a shorter season, it might end up being the equivalent of 93 games or so, like you were saying, trying to get to that point to win as many games. So I think it would work out fine. Will they reduce the regular season and put in this new playoff system is the big question. I don't think they will. I think next year they may add a team or two to each league going into the postseason, but I don't think we're going to see this 16-team bonanza that we've
That's too much.
the last week or so.
Like, with your 8 games in one day, I mean, luckily I'm unemployed, but I was able to watch all those games, and by the time it got to the end of that Reds game, I was ready to jump out the window. I was like, all right, I have been watching this. I've been listening to Alex Rodriguez forever, and I'm done. Once like the Dodger game came on, I was like, all right, man, 8 games in one day. Sure, it was a first time, and no, we're done. First time, only time. No more 8 game days. That was too much.
And that's awful for TV, especially if we're talking about TV revenue in the same breath. And think about it this way, too. I'm a Braves fan. I'm never shy about my team allegiances. Yes, I'm glad we pitched 22 innings of shutout baseball, but you're right. Watching how long those games went with nothing happening
That's
was
enough.
just an
That's
absolute
I'm
nightmare.
good. I'm good.
Yeah. All right.
And another thing too, real quick before you move on, we're not even at the division series yet. Like,
No.
you think in your head, like, we're not even at the DS yet. Come on, man.
we still have the actual full playoffs to go.
Yeah, that's where I'm just like, I mean, I love baseball with all my heart and soul, but jeez, man, like let's get through this wild card series already.
All right, no playoff talk would be complete without predictions. We have 30 seconds left. Who do you think is going to the series, and who's going to win it all out there in Texas?
Oh man, I hate to be this guy to pick it, but the Dodgers are just so good. Well, we're recording this before the end of the wild card series, so Padres Cards is going to be exciting, and if the Padres move on, Dodgers Padres is just so exciting. If I had to pick an NL team, I'm gonna go Dodgers just because of that staff. Gratterall's looking good out of the pen. Kershaw looked great in game 2. Bueller, as long as that blister holds off, is great. On the AL side, I think it's going to come down to the northern side of that bracket. Rays, Yankees. Rays win that. Rays are going all the way.
I gave you 10 extra seconds there to get that prediction in. I like the Rays. I had Dodgers White Sox in the World Series with the Dodgers winning, so I don't get the White Sox anymore, but I'll stick with the Dodgers winning the World Series.
The Rays are so good, man. The Rays are so good. Sneaky good.
They are very sneaky good. You can catch Steve Granado hosting the Our Game podcast on all great podcast platforms. You can follow along, too, at Our Game Podcast on all social media platforms. Check out Steve at Steve Granado, too, on all of those same social media channels. Steve, thanks so much. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, man.